when you came in, what did you, were you having some hair problems when you came in?
Yes, I had patches of hair missing sporadically throughout my hair. I had enough growth, which having that for about 6 months, then I was able to get this method, which is a much more user-friendly. You can put your hair up, you can wear it back, you can scratch your head. It's a lot more comfortable for me. So.
And when you say upgrade, are you saying because your own natural hair was growing in between those methods? Is that why you were switching methods during the process?
My hair had grown back enough for me to be able to do this method.
Because she has so much hair loss. And once we got growth, like she said, in between each method, it started to help her hair grow. So anytime you have hair growth, it gives you options to be more versatile, to be able to go into different methods, have more freedom to be able to wear your own hair in between, get more versatility for our styling go. And the methods that we do use, that promotes hair growth, but it's also a method that is done where it takes the stress off of your hair, because sometimes people do methods where it causes so much stretch and it can cause hair loss, so you have to be careful what methods you do. It just depends on how severe the hair loss is and where the hair loss is, different things. It just depends on the circumstances of the client's hair, but in her case, all these different methods were upgrades for her to be able to change and get more versatility. Now this here, as you can see, she has so much more hair growth. Now she's more flexible to do different methods.
So tell us what we're looking at here, Dee. That's her new growth here in the middle?
Yes, it is. Okay. She has new growth from the root to about 3 inches down.
Wow.
Yes.
And where was she before she started this process?
You see the demortation of the color. This is her darker color. This is where she first started. The lighter color is her natural color, and that's her new growth. So it's from here.
That's amazing. Okay, that's really.
And when we do the restitch, what we do is we just take them out. We put the braid back into the same place where you see the hair. It always helps you know where the braid came from because it has like a curl pattern. And then we track the hair back up, which I'm
okay. And Dondrea, so what are we doing here now? We're putting that down the base for the pattern, or?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is the braid, which is the foundation where the hair is attached to. So I'm finished putting the braid in, and after we finish with this braid here, I'm going to tie it back and actually sew it down to give it its foundation for the hair to go on.
And can you talk a little bit about, one thing the model just mentioned was that she's had hair growth since the inception of her methods here. Can you talk a little bit about how you've been able to achieve that? Because one of the things we know with any kind of hair weaving or hair extensions is that there can be hair loss if it's done incorrectly. Can you tell us how that's done?
The way that I stitch, kind of like a doctor stitching, and we start off here and we don't even really pull. Some people like to pull. I take the stitching and kind of hold it because that takes the pressure off pulling on the hair. And another key factor is when you're stitching, to stitch very closely, because sometimes when you try to stitch farther away and you stitch, it makes very loose stitches and it won't make the foundation sturdy. It'll make it very loose, and you don't want that. So you always want to bring your stitches right next to each other, which would be there. And when you pull, you don't want to yank. You just want to take it, and you just want to, and it already has its whole foundation already because the stitches are so close where you can just let this go, versus if I did it too far, you'll just have gap spaces. So you just go along here. And if she has very long hair and you have this part dangling, all you have to do is just take this and bring it back across. And it even makes a stronger foundation. And what you never do is you don't want to stitch in here. This area here, you want to start your stitch right here, because if you start your stitch right here, this is where the pulling and the traction comes, and that's where you get your hair loss. So you never want to do that. You want to just come over about 2 millimeters and start your stitch there, and then there you are. And then you just keep stitching very close and come all the way across.
Like you always do for me, 'cause,
No.
on the sides, when you actually weave it, you get my sides really good because that's where it lives from hair brushing or sleeping or just scratching your head, just normal everyday, running your fingers through your hair.
You want to make sure the ends are secure. When you're putting on the actual hair, you want to secure your edges because the edges are the foundation which is going to hold the hair, because once the end snaps, it all just unravels. It's like a ripple effect. And neat is always better. Take your time, be consistent with your stitches. It makes, just makes the process last a lot longer. And there you are. Okay, so now we have the foundation of the braid and it's been finished being sewn. So basically when we put the track on, which is the same measurement, you always want to make sure that it goes on the same way that it came off. You actually almost do the same process, except for instead of starting 2 millimeters behind like we did when we started the track, we actually start the track on the end. And when you start, you don't want to put pressure. You want to make sure that these stitches are light and close together. But at the same time, you want to put maybe 2, I would say 3 to 4 stitches in the same area, but very light. Because the corners, like I said earlier, are the foundation to make sure that it holds and it doesn't unravel.
Now that you love all of me, you love all of me. Took your love to set me free. I'm so glad.